Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Professor Tejendra Sharma from the Department of Commerce, Kurukshetra University, Kurukshetra. Today, we are going to talk on the module Leadership, Concept, Styles and Traits from the paper Principles and Practices of Management. The desired learning outcomes of this module are to help you to know the concept and meaning of leadership, to understand the styles and traits of leadership, and to elaborate the theories of leadership. As you can see that in an organization, unless and until there is somebody to lead the organization cannot achieve the desired results. Let us try to first of all understand how different management gurus have looked upon leadership as a major input of the management systems. In the words of Kuntz O'Donnell, leadership is the ability of a manager to induce the subordinates to work with confidence and with zeal. In the words of George Terry, leadership is an activity of influencing people to strive willingly for achieving the group objectives. In the words of Gluck, Josh E. Gluck, leadership is a set of interpersonal behaviors designed to influence the employees to cooperate in the achievement of the organizational objectives. Another perspective given by Bansal, Sharma and Chandel is the leadership as an ability to influence the group towards achievement of vision or a set of goals. With these definitions of leadership, let us try to understand some characteristics of the leadership. Leadership is a continuous process and it is not a one-slot activity. Students, it is the continuous thing that happens in an organization, and the leaders, they are entrusted upon with the self-driven responsibility to bring about change in the behavior of others. Leadership may be seen in terms of relationship between a leader and his followers. Followers can be individuals and or groups, which arises out of their functioning for common goals. Leadership is spontaneous, that is, voluntary, and is not imposed by anyone. Leadership basically tries to brighten and sharpen the latent capabilities of the subordinates. Leadership gives experience of help to the followers to attain the common goals. This will happen only when the leader feels the importance of individuals, gives them recognition, and conveys them about the importance of activities performed by them. Leadership is an exercise in a particular situation at a given point of time and under a specific set of circumstances. Although the two are very closely related concepts, the leadership and the management, students, it's really very important that we understand the differences between leadership and management. The first difference between the leadership and the management primarily is in terms of the focus. A leader's focus is on the people and a manager's focus is on the resources. A leader has to inspire the people, has to lead the people, has to motivate the people, has to direct the people. Therefore, his entire activity or focus will remain on the people. Whereas a manager is more concerned about converting the inputs into the outputs in the most efficient manner. Therefore, management looks upon the resources, and for them even people would be one of the resources, and the whole idea would be to generate maximum output from the resources. The second point of difference between the leadership and the management is in terms of the processes. The leadership inspires a trust. People will not accept somebody as a leader unless and until they have a trust in that person. Therefore, it is the personal capability of the leader to instill the trust in the minds of the people, only then they will follow him. Whereas management tries to exercise the control by virtue of they being the managers. They rely on control and this is how they get their things done from the people. The third important difference between the leadership and the management is the source of power. That means, what is the source which makes them powerful? A leader becomes powerful by the personal abilities, the personal charisma, the personal competence, and the personal behavior. Whereas a management or a manager derives the power from his or her position in the hierarchy. So it is more of an authority that is vested upon a manager, and by virtue of the position, the manager becomes powerful and tries to influence the people. So this is another major important difference between a manager and a leader. The next important difference is between the approach. A leader's approach is transformational, because a leader would inspire, would lead a team, would motivate a team, would direct a team and achieve the results. Whereas managers' immediate focus would be to get the work done. Therefore, the relationship which a manager might have with the people around them is transactional in nature. That means focus on the present activity and achieve the results out of it. And the next difference between the leadership and the management is in terms of the emphasis. A leadership emphasizes the collective aspects. A leader would be more concerned about the collective benefits, the collective aspects of any input. Whereas a manager is more about individual performance, individual control, individual ratings, individual capabilities of the people which he would be looking at. The leadership is proactive in terms of its futurity, because a leader needs to remain a leader for a longer period of time, whereas management is more reactive because they formulate their strategies depending upon the changes in the business environment. The leaders may themselves be a medium of bringing about a change in the environment. So this is another major difference between the two. And the next difference between the leadership and the management is in terms of the type. Leaders exercise both formal as well as informal methods of controlling the people, of motivating the people, of transforming the people and the systems, whereas management relies upon the formal mechanisms only. In this discussion, I just want to make one point very clear. Although we have understood the difference between leadership and management, we must not make a mistake of understanding that the two are different. A same person can be a manager as well as a leader. A same person can be a leader as well as a manager. As a matter of fact, the difference that we have observed is in terms of the role, or in terms of the approach, or in terms of the perspective, and not in terms of two separate individuals. Let us try to understand various theories of leadership. Students, theories of leadership are broadly divided into two categories. One is known as the traditional set of theories, and second are the contemporary theories of leadership. Students, let us try to study some of the traditional theories of leadership. One of the oldest theory of leadership is the trait theory of leadership. The trait theory of leadership dwells upon the belief that it is the possession of certain traits which differentiates the leaders from non-leaders. Those traits are the personal qualities and the characteristics. The people who believe in trait theory believe that the leaders are born and not made. There have been examples of individuals who have been very successful leaders. Say the father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi ji, Margaret Thatcher, South Africa's Nelson Mandela. They all are recognized as leaders, and they are accepted as leaders because of their personal traits which have ingrained them with the charisma, with the enthusiasm and the courage, which helped them to lead a very large group of people. Various research studies have been conducted to study some of the traits, and they have found that the intelligent attitudes, personality and biological factors are some of the key ingredients of the effective leaders. According to Stockgill, various trait theories have suggested that there are traits which exist in a successful leader. Some of the traits which have been observed in successful leaders are, firstly, the physical or the constitutional factors. Although there is no uh, prescriptive guideline to say that if a person possesses these physical parameters in terms of height, physique, etc., he can be a leader. But still, by and large, if one has to be a leader, then one needs to have a physical aura of being a leader. The appearance, the energy, the health, and the physique, all these are the constituents which can be classified as the physical and the constitutional factors that make a leader. Indeed, a leader has to work hard, and this requires energy, and energy requires some physical strength as well. So, the starting point or the starting trait of a good leader is the physical traits. In addition to the physical traits, the next comes the intelligence of a leader. You know, a leader has to be really very intelligent person, because he has to take decisions under very compelling and very diverse kind of the situations where he has to act on a spur of moment. Moreover, when a leader has to lead a large number of people, there can be diversities of opinion within the people, and he has to actually transact a point of balance between large number of people or the situations, and this is possible only when a leader is intelligent enough. Then a leader needs to have a self-confidence. A leader cannot inspire the people unless and until a leader is confident about himself. A leader has to tell himself on daily basis that I can do a particular task. Only then he will be able to tell to the other groups that the results can be achieved. Therefore, self-confidence of a leader is really an important trait. A leader needs to be social, because a leader has to work with people. So unless and until a leader has got high degree of sociability, a leader cannot become a good leader. The next trait which has been identified is the will. A leader needs to be a strong-willed person. The situations under which a leader functions can be really very challenging. And amidst those challenges, a leader has to ensure that his or her determination is not tattered. Only then the leader will be able to inspire the people. And having a strong will means that a leader has initiative, a leader has persistence, and a leader has ambition. Another important trait which has been found to be important in the leaders is the dominance. You know, a submissive person can't be a good leader. A leader has to be dominant, because a leader has to put forth his or her viewpoint, his or her initiative, his or her action. And all this is possible only when a leader has the capability, the guts, and the strength to dominate the situations, to dominate the people, and to dominate the conditions. Only then a person can be a good leader. Another important characteristic, although it may sound little humorous, but it is the surgency which makes a good leader. A leader has to be talkative. You know, you can't be a good leader if you cannot communicate. A leader has to be talkative. A leader has to be cheerful. The real happiness must radiate from the leader. Only then he will be able to lead the people with him. A leader needs to be enthusiastic, expressive, alert, and also present a degree of originality. All these are some of the traits, the possession of which can help you in becoming a good leader. The implications of the traditional theory, the trait theory, are that it emphasizes that a leader requires some traits in order to be effective. Many of these qualities may be developed in the individuals through training and development programs. However, this theory is not universally acceptable, and there are certain limitations of the theory. The first limitation is that there cannot be a generalization of traits for a successful leader. No evidence has been given about the degree of various traits, because people have various traits with different degrees. There is also a problem of measuring the traits. People may differ in terms of their perspective on the certain traits which have been identified to make the leaders. People might be misleading in thinking that all good leaders have some core traits of the theory. So these are some of the limitations of the traditional theory, that is the trait theory. The next traditional theory is the behavioral theory. Behavioral theory of leadership emphasizes that strong leadership is a result of effective role behavior. The most comprehensive and replicated of the behavioral theories resulted from a research that began at Ohio State University in late 1940s. They identified two dimensions of leaders' behavior. First is the initiating structure, and second is the consideration. The initiating structure refers to the extent to which a leader is likely to define and structure his or her role and those of the employees in search for goal attainment. It includes behavior that attempts to organize work relationships and the goals. The second dimension is the consideration. It is described as the extent to which a person is likely to have job relationships that are characterized by the mutual trust, respect for employees' ideas, and regards for their feelings. Another set of studies conducted by the Michigan Group has also come up with two dimensions of the leadership behavior. One is the employee-oriented leaders, and second are the production-oriented leaders. The employee-oriented leaders are described as emphasizing interpersonal relations. They took a personal interest in the needs of the employees and accepted individual differences amongst the members. The production-oriented leaders emphasized the technical or the task aspect of their jobs. Their main concern was in accomplishing each other's group tasks, and the group members were a means to achieving the end. The implications of the behavioral theories are that they can shape their behavior which appears to be functional and discard the behavior which appears to be dysfunctional. The limitations of the theory are that a particular behavior may be functional at a point of time, but it may be dysfunctional at another point of time. The effectiveness of leadership behavior depends on various factors which are not in a leader but external to him, like the nature of followers and the situation under the leader's behavior. So students, in addition to the traditional theories of leadership, there are certain modern theories of leadership as well. And one of the modern theory of leadership is the contingency theory of leadership. Contingency theory of leadership was developed to focus on the situational influences on leadership's effectiveness. And it suggested that under conditions, one style would be more appropriate, whereas in another set of conditions, another style of leadership would be more appropriate. There are basically two main theories which can be classified as contingency theories of leadership. One is the Fiedler's model, and second is the leader-member exchange theory. Let us study the Fiedler's contingency model. The Fiedler's contingency model for leadership was developed by Fred Fiedler. This model proposes that effective group performance depends on the proper match between the leader's style and the degree to which the situation gives control to the leader. He has identified leadership styles on two dimensions. First is the task-directed style, and the second is the human relation style. Task-directed style is primarily concerned with the achievement of task performance. The leader derives satisfaction out of the task performance. The human relation style is concerned with achieving good interpersonal relations and achieving a position of personal prominence. Fiedler used two types of scores to measure the styles adopted by a leader. The first score is the least preferred co-worker questionnaire. In this, rating on this was done based on an individual's liking or disliking of working with other individuals in the group and measured in 16 items. The second set of scores is the assumed similarity between the opposites. In this case, rating was based on the degree to which leaders perceived group members to be like themselves. The next step in the Fiedler's model is to evaluate the situation in terms of three contingency variables. The first is the position power is either strong or weak. Second is task structure is either high or low. And third is leader-member relations are either good or poor. Leader-member relations refer to the degree to which followers have confidence, trust, and respect for the leaders. All these situation variables taken together may define the situation to be favorable or unfavorable, which is represented as follows. Fiedler states that better the leader-member relations, the more highly structured the job and stronger the position power, the more control the leader has. With the knowledge of an individual's LPC, that is least preferred co-worker, and an assessment of the three contingency dimensions, the Fiedler model proposes matching them up to achieve maximum leadership effectiveness. Based on this research, Fiedler conducted that task-oriented leaders tend to perform better in the situations that are very favorable to them and in the situations that are very unfavorable. So, Fiedler would predict that when faced with this category 1, 2, 3, 7 or 8 situation, task-oriented leaders perform better. Relationship-oriented leaders, however, perform better in moderately favorable situations, that is category 4 and category 6. Next theory is the leader-member exchange theory. This theory argues that because of time pressures, leaders establish a special relationship with a small group of their followers. These individuals make up the in-group. They are the trusted and get a disproportionate amount of the leader's attention. Others fall in the out-group. They get loss of the leader's time. Few of the preferred rewards that the leader controls and have the leader-follower relationships based on the formal authority interactions. LMX theory is a contingency theory because the leader's actions vary depending upon the relationships with each of the followers. Some of the other contemporary theories of leadership are the Charismatic Leadership theory. This theory is also known as Great Man's theory. John F. Kennedy, Martin K. Ashe, Steve Jobs are the individuals who are frequently cited as being charismatic leaders. Max Weber, a socialist, was the first scholar to discuss the charismatic leadership. He defined charisma, which emerges from the Greek word gift, as certain quality of an individual personality by virtue of which he or she is set apart from the ordinary people and treated as endowed with supernatural, superhuman, or at least specifically exceptional powers or the qualities. Charismatic leaders are those who inspire the followers and have a major impact on their organizations through personal vision and energy. Let us see how charismatic leaders influence their followers. Basically, their influence is a three-step process. It begins by leaders articulating an appealing vision. The vision provides a sense of continuity for the followers by linking the present with a better future for the organization. For example, Brijlal Munjal of Hero Honda had a clear and a focused vision of what he wanted to do in life, career, and in business. Next, the leader conveys through the words and actions a new set of values, and by his or her behavior sets an example for others to imitate. Finally, the charismatic leader engages in emotion-inducing and often unconventional behavior to demonstrate courage and convictions about the vision. Let us now study the transformational leadership. It occurs when the leaders and the followers engage with one another in such a way that they raise one another to the higher levels of morality and motivation. These leaders are known for growth in their organizations, bringing about mammoth acquisitions, diversifications, takeovers, mergers, and vibrant operations. Transactional leaders are those kinds of leaders who guide or motivate their followers in the direction of established goals by clarifying role and the task requirements. Transactional and transformational leadership shouldn't be viewed as opposing approaches to getting the things done. Both of them complement each other. The transformational leaders encourage their followers to be more innovative and creative. They are also more effective because they themselves are more creative, but they are also more effective because they encourage those who follow them to be creative also. Another theory of leadership is the authentic leadership. The authentic leader is the one who remains true to his or her own values, preferences, hopes and aspirations, and acts in such a way that is consistent with those values and beliefs. The primary quality produced by the authentic leadership is the trust. How does authentic leadership build trust? Authentic leaders share information, encourage open communication, and stick to their ideas. The result: people come to have faith in the authentic leaders. Components that make an authentic leadership are, firstly, the self-awareness, unbiased or balanced processing, being true to self and motivated by personal convictions, and relational authenticity or transparency. Another approach to leadership is the shared leadership, which says that it's a dynamic and an interactive influence process among the individuals in the groups in which the objective is to lead one another to achieve the organizational or the group goals. Another way to look at leadership is the positive leadership. Kim Cameron has developed an approach which he calls as positive leadership. It is primarily concerned with facilitating extraordinary performance, affirming human potential, and facilitating the best of human conditions. With these theories of leadership, students, let us now study the styles of leadership. The first style of leadership is categorized as being approach-based leadership style. The superior motivates their subordinates in two ways, that is positively and negatively. Positive leadership. It leads to higher job satisfaction and work performance. Rewards may be in the form of increase in pay, bonus, work, productivity allowance, profit sharing ratio, or in the form of better status, more recognition, promoting better quality of life, and job enrichment. The negative approach leadership are the ones who use penalties and coercive measures to get the desired behavioral pattern. They use demotions, reduction in pay, threatening and compelling modes to compel their subordinates to do the job which is delegated to them. Second type of leadership styles are the authority-based leadership styles. The supervisors in this category are classified depending upon how much authority is attained by them versus how much authority is delegated to them. Following are the styles of this type of leadership. One is the autocratic leadership. This is also known as authoritarian leadership. In this, a person has full authority and control over decision-making process. This type of leadership is applicable when the organization is small and he has a limited number of employees. Authoritarian leaders make decisions independently with little or no input from the rest of the group. Advantages of autocratic leadership are that it provides strong motivation and reward for the leader. A quick decision making is guaranteed because a single person decides the whole group. There is no need of initiative in decision making, planning, or organizing. There is a possibility of strict control and supervision. In an autocratic work environment, the leader typically keeps a close watch on the activities of the workers. Because one individual has complete control over the operation, there is less need for layers in the management or bureaucracy. The autocratic or do this or else type of leadership is intuitive, easy to learn, and does not require specialized training or knowledge of leadership theory. Disadvantages of autocratic leadership. People in the organizations dislike it, especially when it is strict and the motivation style is negative. The employees in an autocratic leadership style lack motivation. There can be incidents of frustration, low morale, and conflict which develop in the organizations, jeopardizing the organizational efficiency. There is more dependency and less individuality in the organization. The second type of style in this category is the participative style. This style is also known as democratic, consultative, or ideographic. A participative manager decentralizes his decision-making process. Here the decisions are not unilateral, but they arrive from the consultation with the followers and participation by them. Subordinates feel that their ideas are honored and they are given importance. There are three categories of participative leaders. First is the consultative participative. In this style, the supervisor takes the opinion from the group before taking a decision, with a clear and a very clear understanding that he may or may not incorporate that opinion in his final decision making. Second type of the participative leadership style is the consensual participative. A group discussion is held on the problems and decision is taken after the consensus of the group members. The third type of participative style is the democratic participative. Here, full authority is given to the subordinates. The third leadership style in this category is the Free-Rein Leaders. This is also known as laissez-faire. In this case, the supervisor gives a free hand to the subordinates to take their decisions. Such a type of leadership gives chance for open discussion and creativity. The advantages of free-rein leadership are that it needs very little guidance and direction from the supervisors, gives full freedom to the subordinates to take decisions, offers more creative decisions, group will exercise self-control, and problem solving is on their own by the subordinates. The disadvantages of free-rein leadership are that it results in delay in the decision making. It creates miscommunication amongst the managers and the group members and may lead to chaos and confusion. There is a fear of failure or wrong decision by the group, and also there is a lack of feedback. Then, among the task-based leadership styles, we have the style in which leader places more importance to the task to be performed or as compared to the people for performing the tasks. There are four combinations of this type of the style. Firstly, the high relationship, low task. Such a supervisor gives more encouragement and support and less guidance and instructions. This style represents supportive style of leadership. High task and high relationship. In this style, supervisor spends considerable time in guiding the subordinates to complete the task. This style represents participative leadership. Then there is a low task and low relationship. Subordinates are given considerable latitude in performing their tasks, and they also get very little support, encouragement, motivation, or appreciation. This style represents a free-rein leadership style. And we also have the high task and low relationship style. In this style, the leader focuses on the task rather than the people. Strict instructions are provided by the supervisors to perform their work. Then we have the people-based leadership style. This type of style is based on the willingness of employees to work. Under this style, the leaders follow theory X or theory Y. Theory X assumes that employees are naturally unmotivated and dislike working, and this encourages an authoritarian style of management. And theory Y assumes that employees are self-directed, self-disciplined, and they love to work. They are the committed persons and they get satisfaction out of the work. Let us try to see what are the qualities of a good leader. The qualities of a successful leadership are so varied that it is very difficult to define them. However, based on the conclusions from the studies of leadership research, we have tried to enlist them into the three broad categories: the personality traits, the knowledge and ability, and the skills. Students, in this module, we have learnt that a leader is a one who has all the qualities which are above and are very rare. We have studied the concept of leaders, we have studied various theories of leadership, both traditional theories as well as modern theories. Each of those theories have attempted to explain what makes a person a good leader. In addition to these theories, we have also understood various styles of leadership. So, it is important that the firms must develop their individuals as leaders who can work on their own self-motivation. There are also persons who are endued with several qualities which they learn over time, and therefore it is important that organizations invest in people and develop their leadership qualities.